Hi guys, this is Bree from Clay County Conservation Board. I am here, we are talking about a habitat. Now a habitat, all animals need a habitat for them to survive. And they need 4 things in their habitat to survive. Now, habitats in Iowa, they have forest, a wetland, and tall grass prairie. That is kind of the main things in Iowa. And wetlands, what's cool about Northwest Iowa, we have a lot of wetlands. Not as near as we used to, but we do have quite a bit of wetlands. And I'm in a wetland area, and you can hear. I'll be quiet for a second. You can hear frogs. Frogs, they love wetlands. That is their habitat. Snails are their habitat, snails love wetlands area as well. Muskrats and Canada geese and small ducks as well. Now, what makes a habitat are those 4 things. Shelter. Now, the shelter is buried down into the ground in a wetland, or on some reeds, some plants, some cattails, or they make a mound, they make a hut like the muskrats do. Now shelter is different from a habitat because shelter is just where what type they live in. They either burrow in the ground or in a tree, or for this instance, a wetland is either in the water or make a hut or on the plants. Now the next one that they need is, what does a habitat need? Does anyone know? They need water. Exactly, they need water. So water is what makes a habitat. And so wetlands, they are the first, see, they're kind of the holding tank. They hold the water until it goes into the Little Sioux. So the trees are kind of where the Little Sioux River is. And this is the holding tank, and it kind of filters all the bad stuff and the unwanted stuff before it gets to the Little Sioux River. So there is water in wetlands. Now, there doesn't have to be water all the time in a wetland. It's still a wetland, but there is water in a wetland. And it all depends if there's a lot of water or a little bit. Now, if I walk around, Miss Bree fell just a little bit ago, so if I walk around, some water is down to my ankles. Now, if I step over here, it will go all the way down to my knees or even past my waist. So it all can vary of different type of how depth the water is. And also, if I bounce, if you can kind of see it on the video, but if I bounce, it moves your where my stand of the video is. So it's kind of uneven a little bit with the wetland. Now another thing that a habitat needs is food. Now food, definitely. So there's a lot of food in a wetland. There can be plants that are in the water. There can be like reeds, there can be small insects, there can be snails, there can be fish or minnows, there can be frogs, like frog eggs. That's a good source. So that is another food type. And another thing for a habitat is food, but also, what's the last thing for a habitat? What's the last thing? Can anyone guess? Can anyone guess what it is? Yeah, space. That is correct. Space. Now, there is a lot of space. There's over 70 acres and at Stubb Johnson Equestrian Wildlife Area. Now, there's a lot of space. Now, just depends what type of animal it is. It means it needs lots of space or a little bit of space. So a snail needs little space, unlike a muskrat. Muskrat needs lots more space than a snail. Now, an eagle that's been flying around, it needs a lot more space than a muskrat or a snail. Now, Canada geese, they are nesting on the wetland area. They need some space, and they need some space to nest, but they also need some space to to find their food as well. So habitat is food, water, shelter, space, and a habitat that you can find in Iowa, especially in Clay County, is a wetland area. This is Stub Johnson's equestrian wildlife area that you can go explore. There is trails here, but you could also just sit back and just listen to the sounds of the wetland can offer. So I'm gonna kind of step away for a second, and I want you guys just to hear the sounds that the wetland is making. Wetland, especially in the springtime, will give you some beautiful sounds. So I hope you have a good rest of the day. The sounds that I heard was 2 or 3 different types of frogs. A red-winged blackbird. It kind of sounds like a burring, burring, burring. And then I also heard the Canada geese. So that are a few sounds that we just heard with having a couple seconds here of no talking. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and we will see you later.